Greetings and hello, Internet. We are live with episode 176 of Voices of Revival. We are joined tonight by two individuals that have been on the call with us in the past. One being Jordan Guinn. Jordan has been on, I believe, once previously. And then we also have Ian Francis on the call here tonight. Ian, I don't know, Ian, how many times have you been on now?
Like 6 or 7.
6 or 7? Yeah, I got you.
Couple around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Gentlemen, it is a privilege to have you guys on the call tonight. Y'all are going to be on a lot this month. I think altogether, how many casts do we have this month? 4, I think.
Yeah, four or
Yeah,
five.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So, Ian, if you have been on 6 or 7 times in the past and we got 4 this month, you're going to move into double digits, my friend.
I'm gonna become David Coffey.
Yeah,
David Coffey level.
that's your goal in life.
That's my whole
Achieve
goal.
David Coffee status. I want to be like David Coffee. Get a WWDD bracelet. What would David do?
Maybe not that one.
That's probably a good like outlook to have on life. Like how do you handle a situation? Just ask yourself, what would David Coffee do,
Coffee. Yeah.
and then do the opposite. Yeah. But you guys are gonna. I think you guys are slated to be on like 4 times this month. You guys have a big undertaking this month with the Awaken project with Preble County Youth for Christ. Jordan, would you care to kind of like lay foundation for us and talk to us like what you guys got cooking this month?
Yeah, we've got Awaken Preble County 2026. We're super excited for that. Our goal was to do every Preble County school, and we are one short as of right now, but we're still expectant with what God's going to do. But what it is it's a worship service and surrender service, and we're going to have a message, and it's going to go to each of the Preble County schools. And yeah, we're just super excited for what God's going to do in the school. And yeah.
Very cool. You you say it is Awaken 2026. Is there like looking ahead? Is there already plans for 2027?
There's talks.
Yeah,
We're not sure. We could get further than Preble County. Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah, yeah. Feel it. I feel it. Ian, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking as you guys look at all of this that's going on?
um, I think like God. Well, first off, like God is so good. Um, he's so real. In these moments and what's going on right now, like the move of God that's going on right now in these schools and in this stuff and all this stuff going on right now, and I have no limit in my head of what God's going to do. I no box in my brain. What God can do this month with souls coming to Jesus, restoration, chains falling off of people, encounters with God like never experienced them before, like all this stuff. We're expecting it. So
Man, you hit on the move of God in the schools right now. I know you've shared before about like what God's doing at Preble Shawnee here on the podcast. Um, just looking at like the ministry we're a part of with Haven, right? And the schools that are represented with Haven, I can name 3 public high schools right off the bat that like the like Christian program within the school is just like absolutely thriving. I think the kids from Valley View mentioned they got like over 100 kids that go to their FCA thing, right? I think that's the number they said.
yeah,
But I know there's a couple others as well that are just absolutely popping. So that's wild. That's wild. What are the Jordan? Do you know what the Christian programs are like at the other Preble County schools, not Preble Shawnee?
Hmm. I think National Trail has an FCA program. We've been hooked up with them, Youth for Christ, and we kind of partner with them with whatever they need. I think they've got anywhere from 60 to 75 people. Um, I'm trying to think of, I mean, with Eaton, we're with Youth for Christ, we go inside of the school. So we've got that. I know middle school, they have a Bible study one day after school. I can't remember what day it is, but they've got anywhere from 60 to 100 students in middle school doing it. Um, I'm trying to think. That's Eaton Trail. I don't know if
Twin
South
Valley
has
South.
anything. I'm not sure. I know they got LifeWise, um, and then I know Trail and Tri County North also have LifeWise. So I think that's pretty much what they've got inside of the school and outside.
Man, I think back to when I was in high school. We had it was a long time ago, black and white TV. Um, there was like a Christian program that we had. And me and like some other guy like fought hard to get it up and running. We maybe had like a dozen people. And like we were proud of that dozen. Um, all of these schools, like the numbers that I constantly hear reported are like 60 to 100. I'm like, how? Like that is just like mind blowing to me when I look back at like what things were like when I was in school. And like, you know what I think one of the big differences? I think one of the big differences is you guys, like Ian, your generation, Gen Z, um, you guys are zealous for God. You guys are burning for God. Like I went to school with like multiple people that let me back up a moment. I don't want to. We had probably about a dozen people in our like after school group. Um, we had probably about a dozen people in our after school group, but the Christians that I know that were in that high school, we should have had a lot more than a dozen. Like there are multiple multiple people to this day that are like in thriving ministries, leading like thriving ministries. But when we were in school, they never shared their faith. They were never vocal about their faith. It was another part of their life that they put on the side and they were ashamed of. You guys are just like, this is what it is, cards on the table. So,
I struggle mostly like getting kids and stuff. I struggle most getting the ones that claim to be Christians. Those are
yeah.
the ones I struggle the most getting. Now, say be that as it may, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why that's the hardest, but maybe it's because they don't realize what they really have, what they
Mhm.
really carry. Um, but the hardest ones I have found to get to things and to get to stuff are the ones that attend church, the ones that do all the church things. Those are the hardest ones.
So let's slow down and back up a little bit with this. You're telling me that the hardest ones to get there are the ones that like are a part of church already. So who's going to these? Is it just like the unchurched? Is that what you're telling me?
A lot of them.
Mhm.
Sure, is a
And
lot
what
of them.
kind of what kind of like what is the responses you're getting from these people that are unchurched in this environment where you're teaching the word?
Oh, oh, they're hungry and stuff. Like I don't even know how to explain. Like great, great reactions. Like people just be crying and stuff during FCA. Like it's crazy. Like people just be doing crazy things.
And what do you do when you see them crying and responding to the word?
Oh, oh, I talk with them and break down and pray with them and tell them, hey, listen, if this ain't satisfying you, let's go more. You know, let come here, go to this place, get plugged in to this place, this church, and really just offer more, and then they take it and they run with it. Really, truly.
What is your so Ian, let me ask you this. Being as you're there, like ground zero in the mix of this all, and like you've been putting in the groundwork, right? Like what are you expecting with
With
these
Awaken,
with the Awaken events? Like what is your expectation? What do you think's going to happen?
you know, I think okay, so let's break down. I don't think we've ever really talked about how the Awaken even like came to fruition, like came started. So like January, I had this like dream vision, whatever, of a ladder, as tall as the sky, right? And I've told you about this, Brad, and that we were only on the first step on this ladder. I was only on the first step, and so I immediately began like praying and be like, okay, let me let me see what let me see what I can do. Let me see where I can go with this. So I called Jordan random. I don't even know. Um, Called him random. I said, "Hey, bro, listen." I was like, "This is what's been put on my heart. Um, we'll make this happen." And he was like, "Bro, no way. Like, bro, it's supposed to be put on my heart too." And I was like, "Okay, then good. Okay, we'll make this happen." So it started in January, literally like that. Um, so like with all this, um, and all that stuff, what am I expecting? An absolute move of God, like legit revival to break out, like in these schools. Like there's gonna be a month left by the time stuff's over, and just a revival, bruh, breaking out, and kids just coming to the Lord, like just feeling like, man, just need Jesus, and but really, revival is like a key word, like revival, like it's like, and not, I don't want it to be just this thing we go to and then it open. Like I want some radical encounters with Jesus. Like that's what I crave. Like I crave encounters with Jesus. That's just what I want. That's what I live like I'm so hungry for a face to face encounter with Jesus. That's just what I want everybody to experience. So we're craving encounters with Jesus. At these things, deliverance, um, salvation, people come to Jesus, but legit awaken, like legit, like through all of it.
Um, if I remember right, I think you told me about the conversation that you first had with Jordan. Jordan, we've never talked about this, but if I remember right, you told me, and I might be putting like correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if I remember right, I remember you telling me that you pitched the ideal, and Jordan's response was he had you had April completely like set aside for something, and you
Yeah,
didn't know what for.
yeah,
Exactly it.
Um, I don't know if I shared this with you, Ian, or not. But in the beginning of the year, when we were preparing, kind of putting together like the calendar for like the Voices of Revival events leading up to like Riverfront, um, January we had fully booked out with Friday night prayer meetings and an end of month rally. February, we had fully booked out with Friday night prayer meetings and an end of month rally. March, we had fully booked out with Friday night prayer meetings and then an end of month rally. And then when the subject came up of April, I said, I don't know if I told you this, but I had nothing booked for April. And it's like, what are you doing in April? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But I felt this, like, as we were putting a calendar together in the beginning of the year, I felt just this, like, strategic pause. Don't touch April. And I've been in, like, planning meetings, like, earlier in the year. And, like, we were discussing calendars. And then the subject came up of April. I'm like, don't touch that yet. We got to see what's going to happen with this whole Awaken thing. So we're here and it's together, you know. Like, we are a couple days out from the first one. Like, Jordan, how you feeling? A couple days out, 4 days out.
I'm feeling great. I'm excited just to
Yeah,
watch God move in this entire county, honestly. Community by community. I just think it's so cool that how God moves and
yeah,
how he puts people together. And I mean, I didn't even know you guys. Like we just met each other not long ago, and God's already doing something so big that we can't even comprehend. And I
yeah.
don't want to. I don't want to comprehend it at all.
Um, I've found, like, when we do like events like this, leading up to them, like when you're kind of close, it's like real stressful. But then when you're this close, it's like, whatever. I don't care. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It all has a way of, like, working out. And, like, these things, like, once we're there, boots on the ground, like, it just kind of carries itself, and God does what God does. And um, Jordan, you were talking about, like, I forget exactly what you said. I forget the exact words you used, but trying to figure out God.
We
Like,
try to, don't we?
I've just, I've given up on that, my friend. Who am I to know the mind of God? We see, like, the limitations on things, and we put a black mark against it. You know, we see every reason on why something shouldn't work, and we form these ideals of what we think God's going to do. In reality, like, he's building on a completely different wavelength than we could think or imagine. That's
Yeah.
probably a weird way to say, but what I mean to say, but you get it. You get it. The who all who all do you guys have lined up speaking the events?
Let me go with
Good.
it. Okay, so first up, we've got Jason Bowman
Yeah.
coming from Solid Rock Church for Tri County North, April 10th, this Friday. Be there. Next, we've got April 17th. We've got names Matt Wilson for Twin Valley South. And then, no, I'm wrong. Phew, hold on. April 17th is Ian, and he's going to be doing Shawnee. April 24th is Twin Valley South, and that will be Matt Wilson. And then May 1st will be Pastor Matt Saperka here from Eaton Community of Faith. So that's what we've got lined up.
So out of all those guys, I know 3 of the 4. Tell me about this Saperka. I may have butchered the pronunciation there.
No,
I'm
you're
not
good.
good with English words sometimes.
That makes 2 of us. So Pastor Matt, he pastors the Community of Faith here in Eaton. He has a heart for Eaton, dude. I mean, he wants to see all 8,000 people come to know the Lord in Eaton. Specifically, that's where the Lord has called him to. He's from Kentucky. He moved out here, not really thinking he was going to pastor a church. It's a pretty cool story. He's a great guy, and we're super excited to have him.
Very cool. Very cool. Ian, you know this guy we got speaking on Friday pretty well. Tell us about him. Tell us about Jason Bowman. Tell us about Jason.
So Jason Bowman, he's my cousin. fiery man of God, pastor at Solid Rock, North and South. Just absolutely anointed. What's going on in his church right now is just thinking crazy. At the South Campus, it's just crazy to see that stuff. I hear about it. But he really just goes after God's heart and preaches what the Lord puts on him. And God absolutely uses him. So come expecting. Expecting, because he's going to have a word from God. And I believe it. It's going to be powerful.
You mentioned that he goes after the heart of God, and like we probed into like what you guys are expecting with all of this. Something you touched on, Ian, was revival in the schools. The revival that you long to see, what does it look like? What are you like when you say you're hoping for revival? What is the thing that you want to see God do? What does revival look like? We talk about it, but like, what does it look like? What are you envisioning?
So
What's on your heart?
sometimes when people talk about revival, they talk about these big numbers coming in and all these the troths and all these new people coming in. When I think of revival, I think of straight up revival, reviving your spirit, like coming to Christ, right? So complete 180. That's what I'm talking about with revival. I mean, like Preble County, Preble County, the Preble County, the spirit of oppression, depression, suicide, any spirit that's there, complete 180, come to Christ. That's the new thing that's going to reign over that school, the Spirit of God. And his name will be proclaimed in the schools. His name's being proclaimed in the hallways, being talked about at lunch. Eaton, same thing. Complete 180. The alcohol, the drugs, the partying, flipped, and going after God's heart. That same with all four schools. That believed to me is revival. We can have legit 10 people in the room. We got one person, legit. Most people would think it's a flop. Most people would be disappointed. But you don't know who that kid is. You don't know what that kid went through. You don't know what that kid's going through. And if you can give him something that he can take forever, give him something that can stay in him for eternity, that he can always rely on, that's it. Revival is complete revival of the spirit. Revival of the life that came in.
Yeah.
Complete 180. That's what I'm believing for.
I think you hit on something very important that I think as you say it, right? As you say it, like the response from like people listening is like, yeah, that's good. But I think saying it and living it are two different things, you know? Like you hit on how like people inflate numbers, right? Like, or maybe not necessarily inflate numbers, but like they stand on numbers, they stand on statistics, they stand on look what God did. And like, don't get me wrong, like when God does something, I want to shout it from the mountaintop.
Right.
But sometimes I think that like why do we share the things we share? Like why do we put it on a pedestal and say, look at this awesome thing? I don't wanna tout what God has done in a manner for me to receive any glory. Like I am fearful that is what we do. I am afraid that is what we do. Like I think we always need to take time and search our heart anytime that we stand on business and we're touting what God has done. And you know, probably like the most incredible moves of God I've been a part of, they haven't been something where like you could tout numbers. It was just small gatherings. Ian, I think you were there for part of the weekend, but as I look back over the last couple years and like everything I've seen God do, the most insane move of God I've been a part of is something that like wasn't like in the aftermath, like it wasn't championed. In the aftermath, like I'm like telling people about it, like, oh, that's cool. But the like prayer intensive that we did, I think, in September of last year. Jordan, have I told you about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Okay. This is one of the most insane things I've ever been a part of in my life. So we did this like prayer intensive this all over this weekend. Okay, over this weekend, I think it was in September of last year. It was like a Friday night service. We had Saturday discipleship classes on prayer, and then another Saturday night service. As I walked into each of these meetings, my heart broke because there was like almost nobody there. They were just like incredibly small turnouts. And like the people we had were awesome. And it was all like everything, all of it was great. But like in the moment, right? Like it wasn't the turnout I wanted and it was incredibly discouraging. But it's like you're faced with a choice. Like, what are you going to do? We're just going to plow forward. We're just going to plow forward. That's what we did. Let me tell you about this weekend and what God did over this weekend, dude. So, the Friday night service was fantastic. The Saturday day sessions, there was this this session where one of the speakers just taught on intercessory prayer, and at the end of this teaching, an impromptu time of prayer broke out. Okay, nobody there. There was no worship team there for this like teaching session. Nobody there even knew how to turn on the sound system. But as we're praying, there's a sound that entered the room that the people present described as the most beautiful altar music they had ever heard. They described it as a piano and a harp. What was that? What was that? Just this incredible, like I don't have words, man. Like only God. That night, that Saturday night, as we're in the service that's focused on prayer, the worship leader was William Hiley. He stops everything. And he's like, I really feel in my spirit right now that we need to pray for someone who's battling with a spirit of suicide. And he went on and like in the moment, like this was so weird. I remember thinking that like this is so weird. Like in the moment, like he stops everything and he's like, and he elaborates and says, I don't even know if the person that we're praying for is here with us right now, but I really feel that we need to intercede. And I was just thinking, this is weird. But like we do it. Fast forward 24 hours. Or not even 24 hours. That Sunday morning, the church that allowed us to like that gave us the space to come in and do what we did, that Sunday morning they had a person in their service that during the service was delivered from a spirit of suicide. Nobody that was there Saturday night was there Sunday morning. There was no communication between us and them on what took place. And then it gets even more wild. During their Sunday morning service, 24 hours after the session where the sound entered the sanctuary, there was an earthquake in Ohio. When is the last time you heard of an earthquake in Ohio? I've lived here my entire life. I never heard of an earthquake in Ohio. I get out of church that morning and I see all kinds of posts from like a bunch of different people I know be like, oh, man, we had this like incredible move of God and there was an earthquake. And they're like basically touting like the earthquake as a part of the move of God. But you want to know what makes it different for us to talk about it? You want to know where the epicenter of this earthquake was, Jordan? 0.3 miles away from the church we were at. You look on a map, the listed epicenter was literally across the street from where we were.
That is crazy.
Bro. Like, I look back at that weekend and, like, all I know to do is say that weekend is a treasure that God gave us, you know? Like, we
For
walk
real.
into that room and, like, wasn't the turnout we were hoping for, you know? But, like, we were like, you know what? Forget it. We're just going to press in to the presence of God. We are going to just linger in this place. We're going to cry out to God. We're going to pursue God. God, we want revival. We want to see you. We want to know you. We want to be with you. And when that's our heart posture, it doesn't matter how full the room is. God moves. Like what do we want? Do we want like high numbers and tout this awesome thing that looks cool, or do we actually want the presence of God? Like, that's all I want. That's all I want. But all that said, I'm believing God for just insane turnouts at all of these Awaken events. So they're gonna be good.
This is what I think about. Like when that is the mindset of, okay, it don't matter what's going on, we're gonna push to heaven and like we're going. Like, man, God shows up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like when you say, okay, God, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why this is going on, but we just gonna go. We just gonna go. No holds bar. And oh my gosh, does he show up? That literally every time, every time, every time.
He never disappoints. Never disappoints. Um, Ian, as you look at everything that you see God doing in these schools, what what stands out to you? Like when you like for me and in my obedience to God, right? Um, I feel like there are a lot of things that I do, and they don't always net the results I want. But I feel like I have like these. I don't know the best way to explain it, but there's these periodic victories in the mix of everything. So everything might not look like what I anticipated or what I wanted, but like there's just these like blips of victory through the process. And like I look to those blips of victory, and they have a way of like grounding me in the mix of everything, you know? Um, so I guess my question is this, like, what are the blips of victory that you've seen God do? Like, what are the most insane things you've seen God do through everything that you guys are doing?
Uh, First one that comes to my mind is when one kid he wrote on that paper, the first FCA, I remember it. He says, "I don't believe in God. I'm here for my friends, but I want to." Okay, I remember that, and that was the same kid that they said that you'd never get in the church building. They said you'd never. Same kid that was an atheist
Mm.
months back, professing atheist. Um, Him come to Jesus, like, it's just crazy. Such a testament, and I don't with all these awakens. I wanted to say, I just forgot. I don't want it to be a cool event that people go to. That's why people go. I don't want it to be cool T-shirts why people go. I don't want it to be speakers why people go. I don't want it to be worship teams why people go. I want the only games. I don't want it to be games why people go. Their friend, like if they, I don't. I want people to attend or be in the building by the Spirit of God.
Mhm.
That's it. By the Spirit of God. That's the only thing that I want. That, you know what they say about Jesus? It wasn't his looks that attracted people to him. It wasn't his looks. It was solely the Spirit of God that radiated off. That's what I want this to be like. Like, there's this little thing in Preble County going on every Friday for the month of April, and there's going to be a glowing power of God, like just on it, that you just can't walk by. That you just have to be in the building. Why? Because the Spirit of God is moving so strongly in that place. Because we're inviting him. That, forgot to add that on, but that is just what I'm craving in the midst of all this. I see my little cousin Noah. Getting on fire. He's doing the FCA tomorrow for the middle school.
Good.
Getting on fire for Jesus.
I was going to tell you he needs to do it.
He is. Don't worry.
I'm glad you picked up on it without me telling you to do it.
I was picking up what you were putting down. But like legit, like I see these things, and this is also something I've thought about. If we can't get the parents in church, if we can't reach these parents that are just strung out, like I know one of them, I've had a kid cry in my shoulder, like, dude's dad's not, like, all this stuff. If you can plant a seed in this kid's life, he'll plant a seed in his parents' life and the grandparents' life. All this stuff, man, I can't even, like, put words into it, really, but the more boldness I see kids bringing their Bible to school, just, like, they don't even care, reading it, doing lunch Bible studies. There's more than one kid doing it.
How many kids took their Bible to lunch before FCA started?
Probably.
How many now?
Oh, there's probably like 20 kids.
Wait a minute. 20 kids bring their Bible to lunch.
Wait. 20 kids bring their Bible to school.
20 kids bring their Bible to school.
Yeah, probably. No lie. There's probably like 15, 20 kids that bring their Bibles to FCA.
Is this just like common for like every school now, or is this just like Preble Shawnee insane?
We push them.
Bro.
You have to you got to get them to understand, like, okay, you have the word, you have the Bible, that's your sword, bruh. You got to bring your sword to the most intense warfare place you're going to be at in your life right now. And that's at school. Yep. You need your sword with you, bruh. You always got to be packing. You kidding me? You got to be packing with your sword.
20 kids bring their Bible to school.
I don't doubt it. I would not doubt it at all. Would not doubt that.
That is insane.
We've handed out like 40 plus.
You've handed out over 40 Bibles. Are they what Bibles did you hand out? Was it the box that Chris had? That David gave him? Have you seen that box?
Mm-mm.
Where did you get these Bibles?
I had FBC and L. I asked them if they can order them because I had kids asking me for Bibles. And I said, I don't got Bibles. So I said, I will get you Bibles. So we had, they bought 50 and gave them to us. Donated them. And then handed out 40 of them.
This is
30 of them to the middle school.
30 to the middle school?
Yeah. Big line.
Do you know how many kids in the middle school bring their Bible?
It's majority middle school that bring their Bibles to school.
The majority of the middle school students,
out of the 20
number, the majority
is middle schoolers.
What grade is Noah in?
8th.
8th, so he'll be in high school next year.
Yeah. And let me tell you about Noah. I have seen this kid. I have a picture of us from 2022, I think, somewhere around there, 2023. And this kid praying, me praying with him. And to see from there, them dude was little. See from there to now, dude, unashamedly, bro, lifting his hands, just praying, bro, going after it, worshiping. I was watching him during Easter. Everybody was done worshiping. This dude had his hands still up, just praying, just praying. I was like, bro.
After that last Camden Bible study we did, I texted Chris on my way home that night and just kind of like an update, like information on how the night went. And part of my debrief to him was Noah is the future. Because you're about to be old, Ian. So,
I'm already young.
yeah.
It ain't almost. My knees hurt. My
It
wrist
gets
hurt.
worse. It gets worse.
My wrist hurt bad. I don't know if it can get worse than this. This is bad.
My wife bought me like a foot brace the other day off of Amazon. Because like my foot hurts all the time now. My arch, like it's not good. It's not good. Like it's really bad. It's really bad. I'm like super unk though. Like I'm old.
Like you ain't even Gen Z.
No, Chris, like he's all like, "Oh, I'm Gen Z." I don't believe it. Show me your birth certificate.
Real, bro. That, but like,
I'm
dude, all. And then
I'm
go ahead.
I'm as millennial as it gets, my friend.
I see it, and then I see like Talisi, bro, like just hungry for God, man.
What grade is Khaleesi?
8th grade.
Them 8th graders, they be killing it. Does Noah take his Bible to school?
Yeah.
Good man. Good man.
You already
Jordan.
know. We got them locked in.
Jordan, ask you kind of the same question I asked Ian. What's the blips of victory? What's like the thing that sticks out to you of everything you've seen God do? What motivates you to do all of this?
Ooh, those are like okay. Well, I mean, victory. There's so many. I feel like God has just moved. I mean, so much in the past year, just nonstop, just time and time again. And it's not small things. It's like these massive, like Ian kind of mentioned, 180s. Like these students are trying to find satisfaction in the world, and they just can't. And they're like, okay, what next? And then they immediately go to God, and it's like that just that whole entire 180. So I mean, my heart is these students because of that. Like that was me. That is my testimony. Um, you try to find so much in this world, and you think that you can, and you try and you try and you try, and then you're flat on your face. And so it's like you can only do it so many times before it's like, okay, now you know you were supposed to go to God, but you just didn't, you chose not to. And so now that's what these students are realizing. They're realizing that they can't do this life alone. They literally have to have God, and they need a personal relationship with Jesus. More often, I feel like there's so many people that, they just get into like a routine of, okay, I go to church, my family goes. It's like, no, you're missing it. You're missing it completely. You have to have a personal relationship with Jesus. And I mean, that's just it. I mean, you explain that to these students and they're like, okay, this makes more sense. And you see God move in their lives actively. And it's just really cool to see. I think there's a ton of things that God is doing, and especially with this Awaken event, it's going to be really cool to see. So that's what I got.
And I think about all this, Brad, and it started off with 2 people. That's it. Those 2 people.
You referring to you and Jordan?
No, like way back when.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Who are the 2 people?
I think it was Gavin and Callan. I think.
Oh. So Gavin and Kellen, you talking about like when you guys
First people
first
ever
kind
come.
of, what was that?
First people to ever come.
So the first meeting there was only 3 people.
Haven.
You, oh, okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. There we go.
So yeah, Ha-
So
I
it was funny how FCA was because it was like, okay, there was like 20 people or 25. Next week there was like 40. Next week there was like 55. Next week there was like 68, 68. And then next week there was like 76. And then like, yeah.
looking at Haven now. I don't even try and count the people anymore. Do you know how many people it usually runs now?
Over 100.
That's crazy.
It is legit crazy.
It's crazy. Jordan, what are the? I know you're a part of like multiple youth groups, right? Like you work with multiple groups.
Mhm.
What are you seeing in the other groups?
Oh, okay. So I work with the youth at Youth for Christ, and then I also at Community of Faith in Eaton. I'm a high school leader, and man, I feel like Ian's the one that told me this a while ago. But he said the Spirit comes where the Spirit's welcomed, and I just literally have seen the Spirit of God move through. It's so insane because it's like you've got one student, and out of nowhere they're like, okay, well, these things are going on, and they're like huge things, like huge changes, and it's just like, okay, that's interesting. And then it's another student, and then another student. I mean, we grew from like when I first stepped into this, back in like October, I think it was, with the high school students. I think we had maybe 10 students. Like we're averaging anywhere from 25 to 40. Like it's just crazy just seeing these numbers, and not just the numbers. I think that's what we get caught up on, but the spiritual maturity numbers. Like I have a guys group. I mean, and we go on there, and once we read the Bible, for the day, we go on there and we do a check mark, and it just holds everybody accountable. We talk about it, we encourage one another, and if I can do a group and be up whenever they're going to school, then I'll do it. If that means that they're staying accountable for being in their words, and like Ian said, the spirit, which is the sword. So um, yeah, it's been awesome to see.
Let me just throw this out there before I forget, Brad. Andrew Williams, he sends Bible verses to the middle school. He missed it 2 days. Let me just tell you, they noticed. Like, that's how much it matters. Like, they noticed.
Yeah, wow.
They were telling me, they're like, I'm waiting on the verse. So we need to contact Andrew. Like, don't miss a day. I'm being so for real.
Anybody who's watching live, if you could comment the timestamp of the live, if that's possible. If not, I'll pull it up and figure out. I want to find this timestamp in post and send it to Andrew. Who said something to you about that, Ian?
Noah.
Noah?
Noah was looking for it. Noah was locked too. He's like, I read them every day. He's like, I'm waiting. He hasn't sent it in 2 days.
All right, I found the timestamp. We're good, bro. Let me just at the Jordan. You missed it last week at Haven, dude. The Easter thing we do. Fantastic night. That was probably one of my favorite Havens we've had in a very long time. And like that's not that like any of the Havens are like bad or less than, like they're all just insane. But Easter is just extra special, and like all the communion stuff and like walking through this, everything we did It was a good night. But I bring that up because so we did stations, right? We did these stations, and each station was kind of like walking through different parts of the crucifixion. Um, my group was done, and like we're just sitting there chilling, waiting for all the other groups to be done. Andrew gets done with his group, and like he like pulls up kind of like next to like where my group is, and like my group's just kind of like chilling, like arms stretched out, you know. Andrew starts like debriefing like all of his guys because we're about to take communion, and he's like talking to them about like the importance of communion and like the warnings in scripture with communion. And like, bro, like he just went in and was like absolutely killing it. I look over at my guys, I'm like, hey, let's go over here, sit and listen to Andrew. Like he's absolutely killed it, and like did like an impromptu like altar call there between like the stations and like taking communion. And like there's some like I don't even know who the kid was, but there was some kid there in the group and like accepts Jesus in the mix of it all. It was awesome night. Um, but so Jordan, you talked about how it began with a few and then it just like multiplied. And that is a common thread to something that Ian said a bit earlier as he kind of leaned into like all the stuff with Haven really began, like the growth really began with just two people, Gavin and Kellen. Earlier in the
And Ethan
conversation,
Moeller. I forgot Ethan Moeller.
Ethan Muller.
Ethan Moeller. I don't
So
want to leave him out.
earlier in the conversation, we were kind of like talking about like warnings with the whole mentality of like touting numbers, you know, um, and just like the purity and the small. Everything that we're seeing God do on so many fronts began with just a small portion that was stewarded properly. You know, like God gives a little. If we steward what He gives, He will multiply it. He will multiply it. We show ourselves faithful to what God has put in front of us, He will multiply it. Yeah. God is faithful.
Amen.
Gentlemen, as we prepare to wrap up tonight's call, Ian, would you care to just take your liberty and close us out for the night? Obey God, speak your peace, whatever is on your heart.
So like as we do these podcasts, you're gonna be seeing us on these a lot this month, and as we do them, there's just one thing that we're not looking for stinking human satisfaction. We're not looking for all this. We're looking for moves of God. And really and truly, that's what we should all be looking for, guys. If you're in anything, any ministry, guys, you know, having a bunch of people there is awesome. It's great. But if there's no fruits, it's nothing. It's nothing. With all these Awaken things coming up, I encourage you guys to come. There's a move of God that's going to be happening. And like I said, that we're not going to have no cool games or nothing. We're not going to have no awesome speakers. I mean, it's thinking a bunch of my cousins and then Matt Splulak or something. Spulak. What is it? Spulak. What is it? Help me.
The Saperka.
Saperka.
This is going to make a great clip.
I know. Like what?
We ain't trying to do nothing fancy. We are craving moves of God. We are craving encounters with Jesus. That's it. That's it. And we are expecting it. We are expecting it. So if you're in the area, come to Awaken. It's every Friday. This Friday at Tri-County North. Next week at Shawnee. 24th, Twin Valley South. The next week, May 1st, is in Eaton. God's going to be a beacon. and he's going to shine. So don't miss out.
Amen. Amen. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Those who hung out with us live tonight, thank you. For those watching via replay, thank you. Until next time, deuces.